So I'm sharing today on basically the idea of tikkun versus tohu. So tikkun is correction or order, and tohu is chaos or disorder. And there are 4 foundations of mindfulness for people who are studying Buddhism, but not necessarily do they consider, let's say, Buddha as a god. So I'm sharing this in a Jewish perspective, in a kosher way, because what their idea was like, there's this enlightened spark in each person by being mindful, which is what we learn in Torah, but I learned this in my journey. So I'm just giving credit where I learned it, but I'm sharing it in a Jewish kosher Torah way. The first is contemplation. And awareness of the body, the thoughts, the feelings, and what is called dhammas, or phenomena that are organized in ways that reflect the goal of the teachings of enlightenment. And the 5 groups that are mentioned are hindrances, aggregates, the sense bases, the 6 pairs of senses, and the 7 factors of enlightenment, and the noble truths. So first of all, the hindrances are sensual desires, ill will, apathy, laziness, anxiousness, and doubt. Now these are all going to be hindrances to contemplation and awareness of the body, the thoughts, the feelings, and the phenomena. Then we have, also I want to say, supernatural does not mean unnatural. So you might even say that as we progress naturally, we can reach the supernatural. The form, number 2, so we have the aggregates. We have form, which is material, image, and impression. They call it rupa, but it doesn't matter. It's called skandhas, the aggregates. Then we have sensations or feelings received from form, which they call vedana. Then we have perceptions, which they call samjana. And then we have mental activity or formations called sankhara. And then consciousness, which is called vijnana. Then we have the internal eye, the internal ear, the internal nose. These are the 6 pairs of sense bases: internal tongue, internal body, internal mind, and external, which is the visible forms and sound and odor, flavors, touch, and mental objects. We have mindfulness, then we have 4, which is the 7 factors of enlightenment: mindfulness, investigation, energy, joy, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. And we have the noble truths, which are suffering, or, incapable of suffering, painfulness, feeling incapable of bearing the suffering. That's suffering is an innate characteristic of existence in the realm of cause and effect, or samsara, like patterns. Well, we might say patterns of repetition that have to be ordered. In Kabbalah, we call it tikkun. These are the things that come up to be worked with. So the origins that come with the suffering cause tanina, which is called craving or attachment. In Judaism, we talk about the Yetzer Hara, the ill will. The evil inclination. Then the cessation and confinement of suffering can be ended by renunciation of the attachment. And Maga, which is the 8-fold path, and basically a noble kind of living to the end of suffering and to the end of attachment. It has everything to do from wise livelihood, wise speech, wise thought, and all that, in 8 ways. So I want to share my views that we don't bring up negativity in the name of detoxing. The brain is also healing. We have to use mindful words, and birth control, and no period, and having frozen eggs and embryos. This is like Mashiach times in a way. This is like teaching us that there's an unseen good is a lot more. Like, a Jew never has to be alone. We can listen to the Torah even from the Buddhists, even from, people in different languages. When I honor my ancestors' desires, I remember. When I prioritize for my descendants' well-being, I rebuild. And I read this thing on quantumtorah.com about the uncontrolled collective. It's like this stampede, a running of a crowd of people or herd of animals, startled by something unexpected, a herd of animals that starts running uncontrollably as one, or humans, and if not redirected, they could run off a cliff or into a river. When fear takes over, it suppresses the instinct of self-preservation, which makes the behavior of a stampeding herd very unpredictable and very dangerous. And I sort of had this image of like liquid vision, flowing sight, pouring, seeing, plasma, magma, like a TV, the crystal river of watching. And, things are in different time frames, kind of where like there's things happening very quickly and chaotically, like in the tohu. But then at the same time, there's also like this order to the flow. And as we make effort, each of us, our efforts pay off, even if the efforts take time. Our intentions may not seem to have impact, but it's a lot happening behind the scenes, behind the seams, behind what seems like, and behind what is being seen, the scenes. And I did kind of this meditation, but before I share that, I want to share something from Sarah Savidge. And basically, we have to get clear on our goals to create a direction toward meaning and purpose. We have to take action steps and daily routines closer to the goals. We have to reframe resistance, which is part of change, and any limiting beliefs that arise. And energy is everything. What we put out is what we invite back. Now, we learn about the Leviathan, which will be consumed in Mashiach times, that there's going to be enough for everyone. It shows first the dream, the comfort, the distraction, and then the mission, the stern guidance, the deliverers, the change that can be delivered. And then I want to share this meditation. I went inward deep. We do like freedom tapping. So we do like, forgetting exactly, I'm trying to remember all the points. Anyway, there's meridians on the body. So the parent, I had to go in deep, and this is what I got some information from myself when I was distracting myself. With the tapping, it's called EFT. So my parents didn't know how to give me better health or better health care or positive attention. And I tried to get in from outside what I needed, and it was always worthy. What I needed I was always worthy, but I got neglect, toxic shame. And I really can't convince anyone to give it. I feel trapped when I shrink and hide. My mother did not respect my body. My father didn't trust my body. The situation always escalated. But I'm ready to trust my higher self with positive attention and adequate health care. I'm actually the best source of this. My attention feels good and my healing abilities are strong. I wouldn't have had to rely on those who didn't have such an ability or attention if I knew this sooner. So time to trust myself fully more than anyone to offer anything from the Creator through me. I feel capable, resourceful, and sufficient, and I'm able to be more accepting and understanding and connected. So we see here that through contemplation and awareness of the body, the thoughts, the feelings, and any group of phenomenon, and I shared all of those kinds. I just shared about the body, I shared about feelings, I shared about thoughts, and I shared about like hindrances or truths about suffering and in my own way. So you see, we could learn these things from places, but there is the risk. I mean, I am not guiding people to go into various religious pathways, or I wouldn't call Buddhism a religion. I would say more like people who turn it into a religion may not be practicing properly. It is possible to, for them, they call it to be a secular Buddhist, which means it is kind of a religion. And I'm not here to promote Buddhism, but I am here to say that the Torah can reach us wherever we are at any time, including where I was at that time with Buddhist people, monks and everything. And here I am sharing how, what I learned from that brought me closer to the Torah, to to the Jewish heritage, to the tradition. And there's stories of Buddhist monks who had Jewish students, and they said, your path, your tradition is the Jewish way. You'll get your enlightenment through that. I felt that I got my enlightenment in these yoga, Christian, Buddhist kind of places, but it brought me to my Jewish roots. So either there's more enlightenment for me that's possible in this path, or as I became more enlightened, I realized I had to be on this path. So I wish for all of us our enlightenment and the right path. Good night.